Hello everyone, how are you guys? It's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. I'm gonna get started here and we're gonna talk about Unexpected, which is actually becoming one of my newest guiltiest pleasures in the world of reality TV because this reminds me of the way that 16 and Pregnant started on MTV, but it's done in a way where it's actually like meshing 16 and Pregnant with Teen Mom. And so you get a bunch of these overlapping stories of girls who are young, 16 to 18 years old, pregnant with an unexpected pregnancy, obviously, and navigating a very difficult time in their lives. I like the show because it's raw. It's not at all scripted in the way that of what you see on like the way Teen Mom is done. You're in the labor room with them, you're going through delivery, you're going to appointments with them. It's very much like the way it used to be with the Teen Mom franchise. And I'm getting my fix through Unexpected. So if you haven't gotten into this series, I would definitely recommend checking it out. It airs on Sunday nights on TLC and it's at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, 10 p.m. Eastern, after 90 Day Fiancé the other way. Before the 90 days. So last night's episode was interesting because we're following several different stories on this show. There's Chloe, who is dating Max, and they have a little girl together. There is Michaela, who is broken up with Kaylin at this point, although in real time, they're back together. And they're going through some issues with custody and not letting him see the baby. You've got Ryla, who's actually in labor and is in need of an emergency C-section. And then there's Tyra, who is trying to navigate, like, after having her daughter, what are they going to do? Where are they going to live with her boyfriend, Alex? So there's, like, so many moving parts. But the biggest story out of this last episode, and I could, like, talk about the whole episode, but I was like, you know what? The biggest story in this episode is that Hailey Tomlinson, who is just given birth to her baby girl, Kinsley, finds out 1 week after she delivers her baby that her boyfriend, Matthew, that she has been with for 2 years, is now dating her best friend, Hailey. Now, why does this matter? Because only a couple weeks ago, Hailey so we refer to them as Hailey number 1, who's Hailey Tomlinson, and Hailey number 2, who is the best friend. Hailey number 2 approached Hailey number 1 and told her about how Matthew had been communicating with her on Snapchat and through text messages, and that some of the exchanges were a little bit flirty. And Hailey number 1 sees the messages. Matthew's becoming real distant from her as she gets further along in her pregnancy. And eventually they get to a point where she decides that she's going to try to set up Matthew because she sees that some kind of inappropriate flirting is going on here between her best friend and her boyfriend. After they try to set him up, so they try to go meet him and ambush him after work, and he figures out that they're together. He then gets mad at her for setting him up. So typical of a cheater, to get mad at the person and gaslight them and make them feel like they're crazy for having the insecure feelings that they're having. So he breaks up with her shortly after that. Then they get back together. And then there's still this sort of like unresolved tension related to Hailey number 2 because Hailey number 2 doesn't show up to her baby shower. She's still concerned and worried about the relationship that Hailey number 2 and Matthew have. And every single time she tries to approach the issue, mind you, in her third trimester, extremely pregnant, baby's about to pop, Matthew makes her feel like she's crazy for having these feelings, when it's very clear that what she is sensing is accurate. He likes this other girl. He's probably trying to start or get into some sort of relationship with this other girl. And rather than being truthful with her about it, he is acting like she's the crazy one for having she's the crazy one for being, having these feelings about him, and everything is... Sorry, you guys. I don't know what is going on with my computer here. I hope I'm still streaming. I hope I'm still live. Okay, yep, I'm still live. Sorry about that. Okay. So she's having all of these feelings, rightfully so, because he is being very like elusive and blaming her for even thinking all of these things. Well, we come to find out in last night's episode that 1 week after having her baby, he breaks up with her after promising he's not going to break up with her. And then she finds photos of them on Instagram kissing. Yikes. So how it goes on the show, and then I'll show you actually, she made a video and she posted it on YouTube, and I'll show you the actual, her take of what happened here. But she wrote, she said, she's supposed to be my best friend. She basically is telling her friend about how everything, they'd always broken up over text message, but this breakup felt really, really different. And she said, she's supposed to be my best friend, but she turns around and messes with my baby's father. She's flirted with him before, but I didn't think he was going to do this, anything after a week after giving birth. Her mother, who's Tanya, and mind you, Matthew has basically been living in their home because Matthew comes from a sketchy house where he doesn't have, the best support system. So Tanya has been instrumental in helping him and raising him and, giving him a place to stay. She said, Hailey, I told you I didn't trust her from that last situation, referencing the text messages that Hailey told her Hailey number 2 admitted to doing. And she was too happy to get over here all the time. She was doing all of this to get close to Matthew. She succeeded. And then the camera moves over and she says, I had a gut feeling from the beginning that Hailey, number 2, was just too friendly with Matthew. No shock that it's her, but I'm very shocked that Matthew just up and left Hailey. I thought he was madly in love with my daughter. I really did. Never did I expect him to take off with Hailey's friend and a week after Kinsley is born. She continued and said, I feel so betrayed by Matthew for what he's done to Hailey. I'm just pretty much raised him for 2 years, and he has pretty much been like a son to me because he didn't have anybody. And then she said to her daughter, I hope you're done. Now you know who he is. Once a dog, always a dog. You deserve so much better. His ways, the way he talks to you, he's toxic. He comes from a really bad situation and he's just dragging you down. You're better than that, and she's not. And then Hailey said, I'm just so confused about what's going through his head, and how do you throw away 2 years for a girl that's not going to love you? And she said, I'm done with him. And then her mom responds, I'm done with him. He's going to see the worst of me. You know how mommy's so sweet. Well, not anymore. That's over. For him to walk out on Hailey and his child, it's just really got me so upset. And I'm not going to tolerate his behavior, so he is going to pay the consequences. So Hailey, number 1, actually describes what happens in a video that she posted on YouTube about 5 months ago. In the video, she talks about how she was like hanging out one day with Matthew and Hailey number 2 after she had her baby. And she said that the tension between them was really awkward, and that she felt that Matthew and her had feelings for each other, but they weren't telling her, or that something was going on. And then Matthew basically like accused her of not trusting him, of not doing, it's all in her head. She's crazy, blah, 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 blah. They get into a fight, and then he leaves despite the fact that he was going to stay over with the baby and her that night. She says that he promises that he's going to come back in the morning and that they're not going to break up. So I'm going to start that right here.
And then he broke up with me the next morning, which was Easter. And I found out that he was with Hailey. And I guess I don't know if he cheated on me with her that night or they was just hanging out. But I don't know, it just really irritates me that he couldn't have just broke up with me when he started hanging out with her, And when I found that out, of course, I started a whole bunch of stuff because I was hurt and I was supposed to be my friend. And I finally, talked to him about it, and he was like, I've liked her ever since, like, we all started hanging out, which was 3 months ago. Told me, like, I don't know if he was just saying this, but she was also there when he was telling me all this, like, on the phone. He was like, I fell out of love with you 7 months in our relationship, which I knew was a lie, because I was, like, earlier, this is pathetic, I was going through our pictures, like, on my Snapchat, and because he's on everything I understand why he had to put me through that, and if he really did fall out of love with me, why didn't he break up with me like a real dude would do? Like, he should have broke up with me when he started liking her. Like, I don't understand. Like, I feel like since, I don't know, maybe it's because she has a car, her parents won't tell him, they try to enforce rules on him, because my mom tried to enforce rules on him and he didn't like that. And I feel like he has so much freedom with her, and he don't have to sit home and take care of a baby. I have to sit here every night, stay up really late, and it's like 2 a.m. right now.
So her take is basically that he promises not to do it, then he does it, then he confronts her, talks with her. Her Hailey number 2 is there. She's obviously devastated. It's messy. And it doesn't really help that this is all unfolding in real time, and then the show is on air. And so a lot of you are saying, well, why is she making this video now? Well, it's because her story is featured on Unexpected. And because of that, like, their whole drama has been going on. Everyone has known that this has happened that watches the show, but now we're seeing like what really happened, where things went wrong. We're seeing like how it all played out. And to be honest, like, I feel for this girl, but you guys, they are teenagers, and this is literally what teenagers do. Like, they hook up with your friends, boys, girls, you know, people swap boyfriends. Not to say that it's a great thing, but it's like, I can't tell you how many times one of my friends hooked up with a guy that I dated. You know, it's just really crappy in this situation, because she was pregnant with his baby, and they were having adult situations going on with children. And this is what happens when children have children. They're not ready for it. They're not ready for the responsibilities. Now, Hailey number 2, for her part, has not helped things at all, because on Instagram, she is just unapologetic about this relationship. She doesn't seem to understand or be sensitive to the fact of what she has put her best friend through, what it has done to them. She seems like she's just more interested in this relationship than how that choice could have like impacted a family and a little girl. So she was answering questions on Instagram, and she was basically saying that like she and him are still together and they're still so happy, because they've been together since that moment in time when she had just had the baby and he made that choice. And like, he's just slimy. And you know, I don't understand girls that do this. There's probably more to the story here, but, and then, you know, how long have you guys been together? 6 months. You're so beautiful, thank you. Do you and Hailey get along? Well, apparently now they're handling things civilly. I should note that Hailey number 2 does not follow Hailey number 1, but Hailey number 1 for sure follows Hailey number 2. And I guess I can't really blame her. This woman is around her daughter, so I would want to know what's going on. Are you and Hailey still friends? Not friends, but on good terms. Are you nervous for the episodes with you and Matthew that are going to start airing? Not at all. Only trash goes for best friends, ex-boyfriends, and father of her children. She said, I don't care. You're pretty effing dumb, and you're going to be the reason his daughter hates him. Homewrecker, I don't care. Are you going to be on Unexpected anymore this season? Are you doing it all again? I think I'm on the next episode, and then the tell-all, and that's it. I will not be returning for another season. It's too much drama. And then she posts photos with Matthew on her Instagram all the time. She never has a photo with smiling. She always has her tongue sticking out. She's recently graduated from high school, but this is kind of how her response has been the whole time. And this is why I'm saying like she's unapologetic. So a couple weeks ago, she like exploded on Instagram, and she said, Matthew and I are not broken up. If you don't like that, then you probably just should stop reading now. The pictures are within the first week or two of me and Matthew's relationship. I like these pictures because we were getting to know each other, falling in love slowly but surely, having fun like best friends. Y'all don't like me or him because of what you saw on a TV show. We get that, but we aren't here on this earth to impress anyone. We have come to the conclusion, no matter what, we are going to get hate. We can't just void our lives because of some comments and haters. We're done turning off our comments. We are done feeding into the drama. If you send either of us negative messages, we are just going to deny them and block you. Simple as that. Your comment on our stuff with something negative, we will just read right over it. I fell in love with Matthew because I see what y'all don't see. I see the vulnerable Matthew, the Matthew who didn't have an easy childhood, the Matthew who didn't get a parent growing up, the Matthew who, even though he doubts himself, is so smart and warm-hearted. You guys make him out to be a bad guy right off the bat when you don't know the first thing about him. He isn't a cheater. He isn't a deadbeat dad. He isn't a piece of shit. He is a human. He has feelings just like anyone else. I am beyond in love with Matthew, and I know for a fact the boy I fell in love with is down for me, and so he's made some mistakes. There's a lot of demons in my closet too. Nobody's perfect. Or we are not born to be perfect. The point of this post is, yes, we are together. Y'all can call me stupid because you think he cheated because you're believing everything you see on the internet. But I know the truth, and I'm going to continue to live and learn with my amazing boyfriend by my side. If you don't like that, then hey, it's your problem. So, yeah. Kind of flaunty. Now, she hasn't made a lot of friends with this sort of attitude. And obviously it is very edited in a way where we don't see Matthew's side. We only hear what Hailey's point of view is, Hailey number one. So we don't know, like, if there was issues. Were they together? Were they not together? I mean, it was pretty clear that there was definitely, like, this relationship was in the toilet in the final months of her pregnancy. And so I don't know if they were together. She said that they were together, but was he together just for the sake of, like, the baby? I don't know. Teenagers are stupid and they make dumb choices. But it is pretty messy to get involved with someone who has a pregnant girlfriend, no matter who he is. There's so many other people out in this world. Why would you even want to hook your, like, tails onto a guy that, you know, is basically got another girl pregnant and then just has a baby and then takes off with you? That shows a lack of responsibility on his part. And it also is, there's the old saying is, you lose the guys how you get them. And so for Matthew's part, he was talking to Hailey number one's friend and sort of starting a relationship with her, and then left that girl for Hailey number one. And then Hailey number two is, you know, his side piece with Hailey number one. So it's only going to be a matter of time before things get tough for Matthew if this pattern repeats itself. And Hailey number two is, again, the girl that's left behind because he has another girl and moves on. There's this thing about bad boys. We love them. They're like sexy. We think we can fix them. And she sounds like she's like sees that vulnerable side. But at the end of the day, people that are broken cannot be fixed through a relationship. People that make bad choices going into relationships will make bad choices going out of relationships. And people that don't have the responsibility to actually take care of a child and be there for the mother of their child, but instead are more interested in their own, like, interests for right now and their, you know, satisfaction with their PPs, really don't deserve the title dad. So Matthew is not making any friends online, and Hailey number two isn't either. Now, there was a rumor that was circulating on Twitter about Hailey and number two being pregnant. I did reach out to Hailey number two and I said, listen, I know you're getting a lot of hate right now. I get it. It's the way the editing goes. But at the same time, there's this rumor. People are saying that you're pregnant. Are you pregnant? And she said she denied. She told me that she is not pregnant. She also said that she is getting a lot of hate and there are plenty of rumors about her. She seems like a nice kid, but, you know, again, you get them, you lose them how you get them. And I hope at some point she kind of sees and wakes up and realizes that this was a really crappy thing to do to a friend. Matthew isn't going to care because his dingling is having fun. And it's just another way for him not to have responsibility. So My heart goes out to Hailey, number one, for what she had to go through, but it's better for her to get rid of him now than to drag this out. So that's where we're at today. I'll be back later with more. I'm doing some digging on some other teen mom cases or other reality tea coming soon. Bye, guys.